There are books that teach, and there are books that transform. The Psychology of Selling is not just a handbook for salespeople, it's a blueprint for personal greatness. Written by Brian Tracy, a man who rose from laboring on construction, sites to leading sales teams and transforming millions of lives, this book is the legacy of a giant. Brian didn't just sell products, he sold belief. He didn't just build companies, he built champions. This isn't a story about selling, it's a story about becoming. So as you press play, let this be more than background noise. Let it be your call to action. And if you find value in this journey, don't forget to subscribe to Book Dose, where wisdom meets storytelling. Like, comment, share. Help this message reach the one person who needs it most, maybe even the younger version of you. Now, take a deep breath and step into the mind of a master. Selling starts in the mind. Everything begins with belief. Brian Tracy opens with a truth that punches through every excuse. You are the most important factor in your sales success. Not the product, not the market, not the economy. The top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the money. Why? Because they understand that selling is not something you do to someone, it's something you do for someone. It starts with how you think about yourself. If you walk into every meeting expecting rejection, you'll unconsciously create it. If you walk in with quiet, unshakable certainty, people feel it, they trust it, and they buy it. Brian teaches that your outer world mirrors your inner world. Your income is a reflection of your thinking. To raise your results, raise your standards, starting with your mindset. He calls this your self-concept. And here's the kicker, you can upgrade it at any time. When you affirm daily, I am a top sales professional, I earn more. Because I serve more, your mind begins to believe it, and what the mind believes, it creates. Why people buy, emotion first, logic later. People don't buy what you sell. They buy why they feel they need it. Brian breaks this down beautifully. All buying decisions are emotional. People justify with logic after the fact, but emotion comes first. A man doesn't buy a watch because it tells time. He buys status, pride, identity. A woman doesn't buy a car because it has wheels. She buys safety, freedom, or the feeling of power. Your job is not to push a product. It's to pull on the heartstring of a dream. Selling is storytelling. You ask, you listen, you understand. You become a guide on their journey. Brian urges us to think like doctors. A doctor doesn't walk in selling a pill. He diagnoses, he probes, he uncovers pain. Only then does he offer a prescription. Sales is the same. No pain, no sale. Find the hurt. Highlight the cost of doing nothing. Then, and only then, offer your product as the solution. And don't just sell the cure. Sell the better life. That comes with it. Building unstoppable confidence. Brian reminds us that confidence is not a trait, it's a skill, and like all skills, it's built through repetition, belief, and momentum. Confidence is magnetic. It can't be faked for long, but when it's real, people lean in. How do you build it? Visualize success before every call. Rehearse your script until it lives in your bones. Learn everything you can about your product, and more importantly, about your customers' needs. Affirm your worth, speak boldly, and act as if success is inevitable, because when your energy communicates certainty, you sell without pushing. Brian teaches that you become what you think about. So feed your mind daily with greatness, read books, listen to audios like this one, hang around winners, protect your mental diet like your life depends on it, because your future does. Setting goals that drive sales. Brian Tracy is relentless about goal setting. And here's why. Top salespeople don't wait to be motivated. They create motivation by setting clear, written goals. If it's not written, it's a wish, Brian says. You need goals for daily calls, for monthly revenue, for long-term career dreams. But more than that, you need reasons. A goal without a reason is dead weight. A goal with a burning why becomes fuel. Want to double your income? Tie it to something emotional: freedom for your family, a home for your parents, respect from your peers, legacy for your children. The stronger your reason, the sharper your focus. Brian even breaks goals into categories: income goals, product knowledge goals, prospecting goals. And he insists on reviewing them every morning and every night, because repetition carves intention into your subconscious. Time, the salesperson's secret weapon. What separates average from elite? How they use their time. Brian calls time the raw material of success. Every hour you spend not prospecting is an hour someone else is closing your future client. He introduces the concept of high-value tasks, the 20% of actions that generate 80% of your results. Calling hot leads. Following up with interested buyers, practicing your pitch, these are income-generating activities. Low-value tasks, browsing social media, complaining, shuffling paperwork, eliminate them or delegate them. Brian's rule. Start every day with your most valuable task. Do it first. Do it well. It's not about being busy. It's about being productive. Because in sales, activity doesn't equal income. Only effective action counts. Understanding the psychology of your customer. To master the art of selling, you must first understand the mind of your customer. Not just their needs, but their psychology. Why do they buy? What do they fear? What do they long for? Brian Tracy emphasizes the need for empathy, not manipulation. When you truly listen, when you genuinely seek to understand your customers' hopes, dreams, and fears, you unlock the door to influence. But this takes time. It's not just about transactional dialogue, it's about transformational connection. Start by asking questions that dig deeper. Why is this important to you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years if nothing changes? On a scale of 1 to 10, how urgent is this problem for you? Your goal is not to pitch, but to diagnose. Because when you understand what your customer values most, you can offer solutions that resonate on an emotional level. Empathy, not logic, wins hearts. And once you have the heart, the sale is just a formality. Chapter 7. The Principle of Persistence, Most. Salespeople quit too soon. And it's not because their product isn't great, it's because they lose momentum. Brian Tracy's philosophy is simple: persistence pays off. Not just persistence in the hard sales moments, but in the mindset of unwavering belief that if you continue, success will follow. Salespeople often hear no more than they hear yes. The question is, what will you do with the no? Will it break your spirit, or will you use it as fuel to keep going? Remember, every no is one step closer to a yes. It's a part of the process. Brian's rule is clear: the longer you stay in the game, the more you win. This principle applies to prospecting, follow-up, and closing. Follow-up is where deals are often made. A study showed that 80% of sales are closed after the 5th contact, yet most salespeople stop after the 2nd. Why? Because they lack persistence. Persistence isn't about being pushy, it's about being committed. It's about having a mindset that says, I will help this person, no matter how long it takes. Chapter 8. The art of the close sales is a dance, not a battle. The close is not a victory over your prospect, it's a mutual agreement to move forward. Brian Tracy teaches that closing starts much earlier than the final ask. It begins with the rapport you build, the trust you create, and the needs you've uncovered. Once you've done the work, once you've presented the benefits and built the emotional connection, it's time to close. The art of closing is about recognizing signals, verbal and non-verbal cues that tell you when the prospect is ready. Do they lean in? Do they ask questions? Do they begin nodding? These are signs of readiness. But here's the secret. The best closers never ask for the sale directly. Instead, they ask questions that lead naturally to a close. Questions like, how soon would you like to get started? Or, what would it take to make this decision easy for you? You see, the close isn't something you do to someone, it's something you do with them. Together, you reach a mutual agreement that feels like the next logical step in the process. And here's the real clincher. The best closers are the best listeners. They listen carefully to understand, and they ask questions that guide the conversation toward the close without ever seeming like they're pressuring the prospect. It's about creating a win-win, not a victory for one party over the other. Chapter 9. Sales is a numbers game at its core. Sales is a numbers game. Brian Tracy teaches us that the more prospects you approach, the higher your chances of making a sale. Think of sales like planting seeds in a garden. Some will sprout right away, others will take time. Some may never grow at all. The key: keep. Planting. Brian emphasizes the importance of a system, a daily repeatable process that includes prospecting, follow-up and conversion. The more calls you make, the more doors you knock on, the more emails you send, the more sales you'll close. But most importantly, treat every interaction as valuable. Whether it's a yes, a no, or even a maybe, each. Interaction is data. Sales is a numbers game, but relationships are what make the numbers work. Build your pipeline, keep feeding it. And like a garden, over time, you'll have a harvest to be proud of. The journey is far from over. If you've enjoyed the insights so far, imagine how much more is waiting for you in the next chapters. The Psychology of Selling isn't just a book, it's the key to unlocking your highest potential as a sales professional and a human being. But before you dive into the next part, make sure to subscribe to Book Dose, where we bring more life-changing ideas in audiobook form. Hit the like button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and share this with someone you know who's ready to take their sales career or their life to the next level.